Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the 3 different styles of chain tensioning that Stihl has on their line of chainsaws. So I have in front of me the MS-170. This is unique. It's the only one that's this way unless you go back a couple decades or so. So we're going to talk about the MS-170, the MS-251C, which this chain tensioning system is shared with several other models. And we're going to talk about the 271, which is the most common chain tensioning system. So chain tensioning, what's that? Well, let's maybe start with the basics. As I run a chainsaw and I build up heat and I build up friction, what's going to happen is this chain is going to stretch. You're going to get stretch, you're going to get wear. So it's not necessarily going to stretch, but you're going to get wear between each of these rivets. And a little bit of wear on each rivet is going to lead to a stretch situation. So I need to tension a chain. And if I don't tension a chain, what's going to happen is it will get loose. It'll be hanging from the bar. It wears the bar out. It also increases the risk, the chance of this chain actually jumping off the saw. So on the MS-170, here are my bar nuts. So I'm going to loosen the bar nuts. And my tensioner, and this is the only one that's this way, is up in the front, right in there. See it? That little screw. And that was common way back in the day. This is old school. This is how they used to do it. But they've moved on. They've made it easier. Stihl does it on this chainsaw, and it's really honestly just an opportunity for them to keep the price on this below $200 and allow somebody to get into a reasonable saw for less than $200. And this is a great little saw for the price that it runs. So let's actually just take a little peek deep down inside. This doesn't really have to do with chain tension, but it kind of does. We're going to pull these bar nuts all the way off. We're going to pull this cover off. Let's go ahead and pull the bar and chain off. All right, so the chain tensioner is this pin right here, okay? And when I turn this screw clockwise, it starts moving that chain tensioner out, which actually will push the bar away from the body of the saw and tension the chain, get rid of that stress on the chain. The bar actually, when it sits on the bar studs, lines up just like that. The chain tensioner post goes through that hole right there. But there's 2 holes. That's because your bar is designed to be rotated every time you replace the chain so that we get even wear on the full bar. Because you get more wear on the bottom of the bar than you do on the top. So if I do this every time, I'm going to get longer life out of the bar. Let's point out another thing. There's a little teeny hole right there, right by my fingernail. And there's a little teeny hole right there. That hole on the bottom or on the top lines up with my oiler. Okay? And so when this thing is running, it's pumping oil out through this hole onto the bar and chain. So that's always something to look at. When you pull the chain off and replace the chain or sharpen the chain and put the bar back on, make sure your oiler hole is free of debris. You can do that with compressed air. You can do that with a little pick. Paper clip does all right just to get it out. They do have tools that clean the groove of the bar, but make sure that your oiler hole is clear. Let's go ahead and set this on. I'm going to try to do this backwards here, upside down. Point out, I see a lot of people try to put chains on, bars on this way. They're setting the saw on its side and they think it's going to be easier to kind of manhandle it this way. No, personally, I want to have it flat, sitting flat here. So let's loosen, let's kick this chain tensioner all the way back, like so. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the chain on this saw. What I've done is I've kicked the tensioner all the way back. I've got it on the pin. Here's my chain in hand. Take a look at the cutter teeth, and you want to make sure you put them on the right way. I've done it myself. I put them on backwards. I've had customers put them on backwards. It's kind of embarrassing. The saw doesn't cut. You're going to come in and say, my chain's dull, and we're going to simply flip your chain around and it'll actually cut fairly good. But when you do put it on backwards and run it backwards, you can do some damage to these bottom drivers, so just be aware of that. I always put it around here, the sprocket first. Make sure I'm lined up on the top of the bar and then come around to the end like so. Okay? And then make sure that, you notice what happened, that's perfect. You got to make sure it's on the sprocket. We got to make sure it's on the top of the bar, and we got to make sure it's lined up with this groove in the back. And now I'm going to turn this. It's kind of hard doing it upside down and backwards, but that's all right. And I'm going to tension this chain. I'm going to turn it clockwise. And this is the only Stihl saw where the chain tensioner is up in that area, unless you go back, like I said, a couple decades. Okay, that chain is tensioned, pre-tensioned I'll call it. I'm going to put this cover on. Cover's going to line up with the bar studs. I'm going to finger tighten these bar nuts up here. Brake is off the saw. I'm going to spin the chain. Actually got that a little tight. No, it's good. Okay, I'm going to spin that chain. Okay, here's how we tension the chain. Take a good look right here at the bottom where the chain is not hitting the bar. What my goal is going to be to do is turn the screw enough to pull that chain into the bar. As soon as in the middle of the bar, the bottom of the tie strap, as we call it, hits the bar. So as soon as in the middle of the bar, the tie strap hits the bar, we go a half a turn more. Okay? So I'm going to go, I'm taking a look at this, and I have contact, and I'm going to go a half a turn more. Now I'm going to hold up on the bar and chain with my hand here, and I'm going to tighten the bar nuts. Guess what? I don't do that every time. I know what it feels like. But if I told you simply pull up on the chain, I should be able to see the bottom of X number of teeth and it should snap back in. You may come in like this and be able to see a bunch, or you may come in like this and not be able to see any. So honestly, the best is in the middle of the bar. As soon as the tie strap right there touches the bar, a half a turn more. That seems to be a good point. You're going to learn with your saw what it should be. You notice it's going to move freely around. Now after a couple minutes of running on a new chain, I'm going to actually shut the saw off and check the tension. Okay, so that's the MS-170. The most complicated one. Set this off to the side. 251. This features Stihl's easy chain adjust or quick chain adjust system. This little tab right here is my bar nut. Flip it out, loosen it. I'm just going to take this all the way off so we can see. And there we go. We're to the sprocket in the bar. Let's pull that cover off here just a minute. This right here is what's tensioning my chain. So I can run this by hand, not normally how it's meant to be done, but you see how I just loosen that chain? If I rotate it counterclockwise, it's just going to pull that chain right back into tension. Let's take it all the way off here just a minute. Again, we have an oiler hole, okay? Again, we've got our oiler there. We've got a bar stud that goes right in there. I want to point out one thing. This one is a little bit harder, a little less likely to rotate the bar because you've got this quick adjuster on. And in order to rotate the bar, I have to take that quick adjuster loose, flip it over to the other side, and tighten it up. So it's able to be done, but it just seems to not happen as often. There's only one screw in here, so you're not missing one. There's only one. It's a good idea to check the tension on this screw right here. Bam. Make sure that stays tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Let's put this bar in place. Let's take the chain off. Let's set the bar on the stud like so. Again, let's make sure my chain is running the right way. Hook it over the sprocket. Feed it along the top of the bar. Feed it around the tip of the bar. There we go. And I'm always going to, on this one, I'm going to hold my finger and hold that chain into the back bottom of the bar and then rotate it out. Close to good, like there. And I'm going to put my cover back on. And that's pretty simple. Line it up like so. Pre-tension, not all the way tight. And then roll this black knob here, roll that out forward to tighten the chain. And on this one, pretty much when you bottom out with this thumb screw, it's tight, and you just tighten this the rest of the way. So that's the quick chain adjuster that Stihl has. They've got that on the 180, 211, 251, and a couple other saws along the way. Then let's go to the 271. And this is the common, I don't think I need to pull this all the way off to show how it works. Again, it's got the oiler holes. We got to keep those clean. Again, it's recommended to rotate the bar top to bottom, bottom to top. So here's my bar wrench or my scrinch. Okay, my scrinch. It's going to have my spark plug socket. It's going to have my bar nut socket. It's got my chain tensioner. And this fits some of the other brands of bar nuts or some of the other smaller saw bar nuts. So I'm going to loosen the bar nuts right here, like so. Just usually a turn is enough. And my tensioner on this guy is right in the middle, okay? Hey, you know what? I'm actually going to take this off. I was going to be lazy, but I'm going to take this off. I'm going to show you real quick. Let's just get a quick peek inside of this machine. Okay. So there's my tensioner pin, and there's my tensioner screw. And when I turn that screw head right there, it moves that tensioner in and out. You want to make sure that when you place the bar on the saw, that you get the pin through the hole. Because if you don't, and you're off, and you throw the cover on and you start tightening it up, you can do some serious damage. You can actually bend this tensioner. If you have enough strength, you can break the cover. Or I've even seen guys push the tensioner through the case of the saw. It's not going together, and I just turn harder and harder. So make sure that that pin is lined up. And again, usually what I like to do is start off by loosening that tension all the way up. So that's going to be counterclockwise, like so. Move this forward here. Again, notice I'm not turning this saw on its side. I'm setting it flat on the ground. Take my chain, make sure it's the right direction, hook it around the back of the sprocket. This is something I really like about Stihl. They've got an outboard sprocket. See how just nice, clean, and easy it is? I'm going to run that chain around the tip of the bar like so. I'm going to pre-tension it before I put my cover on. I like to do that, just kind of make sure everything's lining up. Right, like so. Good. Put the cover on here. Finger tight on the bar nuts. And again, middle of bar, as soon as the chain makes contact on the bottom, go a half a turn more. So bar nuts are finger tight, pre-tension, chain scrunch in, tightening, and I have contact, a turn, hold up on the bar and chain, and tighten the bar nuts. There you go. That is the 3 styles of chain tensioners that Stihl has on their chainsaws. A little bit of how to use them, a little bit of the importance of oilers, a little bit of the importance of wind and how to adjust a chain. If you want to know more, or if you know how to do it better than me and can help me learn, I'd love to learn from you. Check out Carl's Mower and Saw. We're your full service Stihl dealer, and we're here to help you since 1990. Hey, this is Josh from Carl's Mower and Saw. Thanks for watching our videos. We're proud of the fact that we've been serving you with the best in outdoor power equipment since 1990. We're glad that you had an opportunity to sit down, watch our videos, learn something about an exciting new product that we have, something that interests you for your property, or really how to use your equipment to the best of its ability. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. We're excited to share more information with you. See you soon.